What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? According to R. Kelly's defense team in his appeal, they have evidence that should exonerate him after being convicted of sex crimes that resulted in a sentence of 30 years. That evidence, they say, is alleged text messages between his accuser and former girlfriend, Azriel Clary, and her mother, Alice, in which Alice allegedly told Azriel to put on a show, dance, grab his hand, shimmy wiggle, sit on his lap, entice him. Fam, it gets worse. Azriel's mother allegedly gave her some final advice before she sent her daughter to meet R. Kelly, who they say believed that she was 18 years old. Her words, according to the lawyers: "Be prepared to sing 3 songs," he said. "He will meet you and listen to your song. Please have your glasses off, hair to the side. Mama knows best, pretty hurts. And third, your choice, don't yell. Put on a show, dance, grab his hand, shimmy, wiggle, sit on his lap, entice him, while singing is all about performance. This your chance and your opportunity. Don't blow it." Azriel's mother even told Azriel not to look grown. "Take off that ugly-ass lipstick. I told you he don't want you to be grown. I told you to keep hair curly. That SHIT look a mess. You need some jeans or shorts. You trying to look grown. He wanted you because you look young and innocent. That's what he want, not a little girl trying to be grown. You're a damn fool." The appeal refers to R. Kelly as defendant and Azriel as Jane, and goes on to say, defying her mother's advice to merely tease defendant, Jane engaged in sexual conduct with defendant in a hotel room. Jane stripped down to her undergarments and walked back and forth for defendant. She later acquiesced to removing her clothes, testifying that she got on top of him backwards and he did lick her butt. After the sexual encounter, officers arrived at the hotel room and knocked on the door. After arranging for Jane to meet defendant in his hotel, Jane's parents apparently called the police. Jane described defendant as nervous and anxious, asking her to confirm that she was 18 years old as she had represented. Jane testified at trial after the defendant looked through the peephole. "He made me go into the restroom immediately and told me to get dressed. And he said, 'Are you 18?' And I said, 'Yes.' And he said, 'Don't lie to me.' And I said, 'Yes.'" The defendant opened the door and the police checked Jane's identification to confirm her age before leaving. Defendant was present when police officers checked Jane's identification. Rather than calling it a night, Jane again removed her clothes and got on top of defendant to continue their sexual activities. After her first encounter with defendant, Jane told her mother that defendant had asked whether he could fly her to meet him. Jane told her mother, "I said, duh." Jane continued to communicate with the defendant via text message and by phone, and continued to spend time with defendant in Orlando doing normal dating activities such as seeing movies and eating out. At one point, Jane's mother got frustrated with Jane for not prioritizing her music with defendant. On April 23, 2015, Jane's mother texted her, "You need to let him hear your songs. Let him see your video. You trying to date the man. You need to let him see your SHIT." Jane's mother also continued to encourage Jane's relationship with defendant, telling her to be a little feisty, stating, "He married Aaliyah because she was feisty. She didn't let him run over her. You need to be different than the rest. Later that evening, Jane's mother texts Jane, "You are silly. That man ain't trying to do nothing with you musically. He want a F-U-C-K period because he like young girls." Jane reassured her mother that defendant was willing to look at her performances and was patiently waiting to look at some of her videos that her mother had emailed her. On April 24, 2015, after defendant had left Orlando, Jane's mother instructed Jane, "You better be texting him so you will stay on his mind." Later that day, Jane texted her about flying out to see defendant in California. All right, fam, who do you believe? R. Kelly or Azriel? Here's the deal, fam. I straight up believe that Azriel's mother and possibly her father conspired to shake R. Kelly down. At the very least, this sounds like extortion to me. Maybe the daddy didn't know. Maybe the mama just is one of those things between mama and daughter, and she knew daddy wasn't going to really go for it. But he had to know something. You don't send your underage daughter on a plane across the country to hook up with a dude who has a reputation for taking advantage of underage girls. That don't even make sense. So I don't think people can just play dumb like that and get a pass. I think that if these text messages are true, which they appear to be, there should be some charges filed against Alice. This sounds like, to me, extortion. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like extortion. And everybody involved should be penalized. Everybody involved should be charged. These are text messages. Well, alleged text messages. Gotta say alleged, for liability purposes. But these are alleged text messages between Azriel and her mother, Alice. At one point, Alice told her to come clean with R. Kelly about her age. She said he may not mind her age, but she needs to come clean with her age because he has her out in public and stuff. I guess the mother was probably spooked that maybe her friends or somebody would catch on, would see her and be like, "No, that ain't her." Maybe her friends or relatives might see her out there in public, if we are to believe that those text messages are real. And I'm going to tell you straight up, fam, I think they are. I don't think the lawyers would try to make all that stuff up. I mean, these are actually, they got screenshots. Yeah. So the thing is, remember, Azriel initially stood by R. Kelly's side when these allegations first hit. Then she went back on Gayle King and told a different story. The trip part about it is I don't know what happened, fam, but I just feel like if you get on the stand and you lie one time, anything else that you say should at least have the benefit of a lie. That's the way I see it. But what say you, fam? How do y'all view this? What do y'all think really went down? And is this enough? Is this enough? Considering that there were other women, but is this enough? Because is this enough to free R. Kelly? Now, if you look at the law, let's take the emotions out. If you look at the law, it's supposed to be enough to give him a new trial. At the very least, right? To give him a new trial. But on the emotional side of things, I get it. Everybody got their own personal thoughts. But legally, because Azriel's testimony was really a big part of hooking him on that RICO charge. At the very least, he should get a new trial. And I said this when it first happened. I thought that they were big time stretching. I just don't believe R. Kelly was holding no women hostage. The man was on tour. I don't believe that he was holding women hostage. I don't believe he was holding women against their will. I don't believe he had kidnapped anybody. I don't believe that. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?